Welcome back to the video series, 8 Lessons Lupus Taught Me from Surviving to Thriving with Autoimmune Disease. This is the video series that I decided to do for several reasons. One, we were doing the Change Your Story presentation and book signings on the book tour, 50 and 50, all 50 states, the year my husband and I turned 50, to promote Living Well, the lifestyle program that came out of this transformation journey with 8 Lessons Lupus Taught Me. Well, then COVID happened, and everything went to hell in a handbasket. Our travels were grounded, work closed, schools closed, everything. It was just a train wreck. You know it, you lived it. I don't need to explain it to you. But as I've come through this summer, I have been surviving. I've been trying to practice what I preach, but amongst the chaos and just one thing after another that 2020 has thrown into us, the stress has been overwhelming. And I found myself packing on pounds like nobody's business, 50 pounds this year. It's ridiculous. Pain that I have not had for 10 years, back again, bones, and just that deep ache and the joint pain, fatigue, depression, it's all back from my autoimmune diseases. And that is not who I am. I have transformed out of surviving and into thriving. So I recognize that, wait a second, in August, I'm like, enough is enough. I literally have no clothes that fit anymore. I literally have no energy, and I'm just barely hanging on. That's not okay. It's not acceptable. So as we're defining a new normal, I just made a stand, and I said my new normal is going to be my transformed self, not this. This is not okay. And so I started putting all of the lessons that I actually picked up my book again and reread my own book, and some other books that had inspired me at the beginning of my last journey, and just got back in the trenches. Like, I've done it once before. I know I can do it again. I don't have to live like this. That's not who I am. And so as I was doing that, I realized, whoa, wait a second. Last time you did this, it took you 5 years, and you did it by yourself. It's not going to take 5 years this time, because I know what I need to do. I just have to do it. And I have to just shut out all of these other influences that I'm allowing to control my life and my health. And I decided I need to reach out to you and invite you along with. So if you're just coming into this video series now, you just stumbled upon this video for some reason, go back and watch the last 2 videos. Watch them in order, because it is a sequence, and this is a hierarchy to thriving. And I found that I need to do each step, and that's what had happened. I'm still doing a couple of the steps here and there, but I wasn't as religious about it as I was before, as consistent. And that's necessary, because with autoimmune disease, it's so necessary that we listen to our bodies and that we are aware of what is triggering our flares, our health, what's working and what's not. You've got to tune in and listen to your body. That is what lesson 1, your genetics is not your destiny, and your life is yours to create, but you've got to listen to that gift that you have. Your physical body is a manifestation of what's happening around you and inside of you. And so it's so important that you listen. And so I realized I wanted to share that. And since I can't physically do it on the road, I'm going to do it in a series so that you can do it now. And the other reason that now is so critical is because this fall season, the transition from summer to fall to winter, historically for me has been the hardest. Not in the last 8 years, it's been great. I was able to go trick-or-treating with the kids and not just follow them around in the car. I was able to have my big family parties and not crash and spend the next 3 weeks recovering from it. So I'm getting back to that, and I refuse to give up any more of 2020 to circumstances, to things that I can't control. It's time to control what I can, and go back to thriving. So we are on lesson 2 of this series, which will end right as that last week of December, and then we will be in that living wow. Now, whether or not you'll have a full transformation and all of your immune symptoms are under control, I don't know, because there's a lot of deep work, there's a lot of deep dive, and a lot of it depends on you. It all depends on you, actually, not a lot of it. It all depends on you, and it depends on how committed you are to doing the work, because there is some deep work. It's not as easy as I thought it was going to be when I first went down this road, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just living the journey, and it's different now. I'm 10 years older. I've now hit menopause, which adds a whole different dimension to hormones and the impact of hormones on health. So I've got health developmental changes, if you will. I've got all this society stuff going on. So it is different for me as well this time, but I know that the lessons, I know that the principles are true, and they work if you apply them. So the second lesson that I learned was lesson 2, eat your fruits and veggies. So I'm in the kitchen today because this is where I thought, before my transformation, I thought I ate pretty well. I love to cook. I'm a really good cook. And so I've always been kind of a foodie. And I would classify myself a foodie before foodies were kind of trendy, right? And so I felt like I had the eating down well. And now I realize, looking back, that just meant I ate a lot. I ate a lot. And that was why the weight had packed on. Part of the reason the weight had packed on. It's part of the reason it's packed on now, because of emotional eating. Goes back to those beliefs that we talked about in lesson 1. That's a coping mechanism for me. I am an emotional eater. I am absolutely a food addict. Absolutely a food addict. And so the reason it matters, we all know that garbage in, garbage out. We all know what good food is and what bad food is. That's not anything that I'm necessarily going to enlighten you on. What I think you might not know and understand is just how important fruits and vegetables, specifically produce, okay? Whole foods, real foods, in their most close to the earth form as you can get them, how important that is. And I'm going to tell you why. So I love this analogy. I use it in my presentation because when I heard it, it blew my mind. And again, I have a master's degree in science, so I have a lot of background in science. I've been in the medical world, in the medical career for almost 30 years. I've been studying and practicing for 30 years. So I understand science, okay? But when I heard this, I realized how much I really didn't understand about our bodies, how much misinformation I had. Side effect of autoimmune is often a chronic cough, which I have, so bear with me. It is not a COVID cough, but it is obnoxious, and the more I talk, the worse it gets. So here we go. Fruits and veggies. Here's your analogy. If you have a fire, right? We've all made a fire, and you need wood, and you need some sort of fire to start it, right? Some sort of a match or a flint or something to start the fire, okay? So you have these certain components. You need oxygen. You cannot start a fire without oxygen. If you are in, I like the analogy of the living room in my old style where you have a wood fire and you have to open the flue, right? What happens if you do not open the flue for that first fire of the season? Happened to us every year. We'd forget to, because you have everything closed up for the summer, and then it's time to build your fire. You wake up, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, you're freezing cold, you're like, oh my gosh, let's build a fire. I don't know how many people can relate to this anymore because we all have gas fireplaces, you just flip a switch. But you go and you build this fire, and you forgot to open the flue. Well, the smoke is going to fill your house very, very quickly. Okay? It fills your house very quickly. Now, if you're not aware of it, like maybe you build your fire and go back to bed. I don't know why you would do that, but if you did, you didn't open that flue, your house would fill with smoke and you would die. Okay? That's what happens when your house fills with smoke. You die. Well, the same thing happens in our bodies, inside our bodies, okay? We are building a fire. We are burning a fire all the time, constantly. So that metabolism, that fire, puts off smoke, okay? It's not smoke, but it's oxidative stress. It's free radicals, okay? Those are the byproducts that come from metabolism, burning oxygen. And you do it, you're just doing it even sitting watching me right now. You're not doing it as actively as I am because I'm talking and because that's what I do. But the more, if you're at the gym and you're doing heavy strength training or heavy cardio, you're burning harder. So the bigger the fire, the more smoke, right? So this is where fruits and vegetables come into play. This is why they're so important. Because they carry out the smoke. They are the flue, okay? They are the windows. If you have a backup in your home, the first thing you do is open all the doors and windows to let the smoke out. And that's essentially what I learned when I was actually, I learned about this because I was introduced to a product called Juice Plus. And what Juice Plus is are fruits and vegetables and berries picked at the peak of ripeness and then not juice because they don't take the juice out. So they're slurried, right? Just like in my Vitamix, I just throw everything in and turn it on and it blends everything. Skin, peel, seeds, whatever, it all goes in. So they take it straight from the field when it's picked at the peak of its ripeness and do these slurry, and then they extract the water out so that all you have left is the essence of the fruits and the vegetables. So you have all the phytonutrients, all of the vitamins and minerals that you would normally get if you ate all of these different fruits and vegetables, okay? So again, when I heard about it, I was like, okay, well, I eat pretty well, but it's not gonna hurt. And I could get it for free because we were doing what was called the Children's Health Study then. Now it's called the Family Starts Plan. But basically, if you sponsored a child, then you could get, as the adult, you got your product for free. Well, that makes sense. My daughter, I knew, had something going on with her health. We weren't sure. She was just constantly hungry, just completely unsatiated all the time. I just could not feed. And so I thought, it's not gonna hurt her, maybe it'll help her. And I never even dawned on me, I never even had any inkling that I needed more fruits and vegetables, that I could have any help, because at that point I had chronic pain from rheumatoid arthritis. I'd had rheumatoid arthritis since I was 25, so it had been about 11 years at that point. And no, it had been longer than that, 13 years. And I had tried everything. I had tried, prescriptions. I had tried therapies. I had tried detoxes. I mean, I had tried all sorts of different things, all sorts of potions and lotions, and nothing had taken away the pain. It might dull it a little bit, but it never got rid of my arthritis pain. And so I had given up. That was my life. And maybe you can relate to this. Maybe if you have chronic pain and you've tried different things, you're just like, enough already. Or maybe going back to video 1, it runs in your family, and so you just deal with it because that's what you do. And I I really thought I was okay. And about 6 weeks into this, eating this Juice Plus, my pain was gone. And I remember sitting a long day of charting, and I had been writing all day. And much like now, when I'm writing all day, I feel it. It actually wakes me up at night because it hurts so bad when I've been writing all day. So I had been doing charting and it was like, I don't know, 6 o'clock at night. And I'm like, my hands don't hurt. I couldn't remember the last time my hands hadn't hurt. It was huge. And at that point, that was really when my first epiphany, and I thought, what is in this, what is in fruits and vegetables that no doctor or therapist or prescription or therapy had done? Because none of them had given me pain relief, pain gone, not relief, like it didn't, but gone. And so I just dove in headfirst into nutritional healing. And what in the world, why is it that they are so beneficial? And why is it that they can do what none of our man-made products can do? And my husband actually calls it God's pharmacy. So if you look in our cabinets now, they look nothing like they did at the beginning of my transformation journey 1.0 because it's fruits and vegetables. We have Juice Plus. I still, a decade later, I still take it every day. And if I'm feeling right now, I'm actually doubling up because I'm coming out of a crisis. And so when I manage my health with I call myself an antioxidant junkie because I know that when I have systemic inflammation, which is what pain is, okay, anytime you're off, there's inflammation, okay? Inflammation, we now understand, years later, I talked about that in the last video too, that research is always lagging behind what we are actually experiencing as a society because we first have to have the idea or the problem and then the idea that's a solution and then we have to test it and that takes time. And so back then we didn't understand like we do now. We've got tons of research now that shows the effects of phytonutrients, why whole food nutrition matters. You've heard about superfoods. They're all superfoods. Any raw produce, get it as close to the earth as you can because the farther away you get, the less nutrient value it has. It just does. And you know, the big organic versus conventional controversy or discussion, depending on what level of involvement you have. If you have pesticides and herbicides, all those chemicals, I will tell you, that is one of the first thing I cut out, And actually, even through all of this crisis, it's just part of my lifestyle now. I just really try hard to avoid it. Pesticides, herbicides, chemicals, dyes, flavorings, anything in a processed food. There's just, and it's so hidden. And that's why if you can, don't read the labels. Don't read the labels. Just get it whole, okay? Because the labels are so misleading. If you are gonna read the labels, there's one place I want you to look in, one place only. The ingredients. Read the ingredients, not the label, not the packaging, not the fat, sugar, fiber. Yes, those are important and there are times to read that. But for right now, just trying to get a handle and get some control because things are so chaotic. I want you to read the ingredients if it has a package, but really, really, really try hard to get rid of packages, bags, boxes, cans, you know, anything that's processed, because that's where they're in that processing, it's stripping the nutrient value, okay? And that was the magic of Juice Plus, was somehow they were able to process it before it had been transferred, and because the longer time from the time you pick it to the time you consume it, the nutrients get lost every single day. So the longer that time, so when something is picked in California, shipped to Rhode Island, and then back to Idaho, it's had a whole week to lose its nutrition. And it's not even picked when it's ripe, which is when all of the nutrition develops. The nutrients are at their peak when it's ripe. So if it's picked before it's ripe, so that it can handle all of that transition, all of that transportation and handling, then we started off in a deficit, then we lost some in the route. So what we're eating is just really not ideal. It's not enough, because we've got this toxic load on this hand, and we've got the food that is not, it's not antioxidant heavy enough. We've only got, maybe we're only opening the flue, and we need to have the flue, the windows, the doors, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere. And that's what Juice Plus did for me, was it just amped up. It gave me this foundation of antioxidants, phytonutrients, that then I was able to build on, because I just had so much inflammation I had to get rid of, okay? So that was a hack that I learned, and I actually learned it kind of backwards, because I didn't think I needed it. I wasn't really looking as a solution to my autoimmune diseases. I didn't know that Juice Plus would be an answer for me for that, but it was, and it still is. And now there is a lot of research that shows why. The effect that I had, we now understand why we have that effect on the body. Kind of hacking the nutrition that we're getting is one of the things I want you to do this week. I will put the link down below to the stonehouse.juiceplus.com is the Juice Plus, a way you can get it yourself. That's one. And then the second is get rid of processed food and increase your fruits and vegetables, the whole fruits and vegetables that you're eating. Juice Plus is not a replacement for your fruits and vegetables. It gives you another way, like I said, to hack it, because what we are eating is just not nutritionally dense enough to counteract. And especially right now, oh my gosh, with all of the stress and chaos that we're under, I cannot eat enough fruits and vegetables. I cannot consume enough to offload all of my toxins. And that's why I still have pain. And that's why I'm getting much more rigorous with my detox. I actually did a fast, a 36-hour fast, and then a 3-day cleanse, and then a 14-day shred. So I'm in my shred right now, but I am bringing you along on this journey with me. And you may not be ready for a fast. You may not be ready for a cleanse. You may not be ready for a heavy detox, because it's just too much right now. So just start with one change, okay? Add Juice Plus in, take processed food out, okay? If you can do that, then your other food, we can fine tune as we go along through this month, through these 2 months. We can fine tune. I'm here for you. Message me, email me, call me. I gave you my number in the last video, or 2 videos, in the intro, I think is where I put my phone number. So I am here. This is not, this is not a promotion. I'm not doing it on Facebook or Instagram or any of those places to bring people on our journey. If you found this is because you want to do this transformation with us and with me, and we're going to do it together, because I don't need to do it alone this time, and I already know the way. So I'm just going to buckle down and do it, and that's where I'm at. So if you're getting this late, or you're not sure if you can do, all of the crazy things that I'm doing, like the cleanse and the fast and things like that, that's okay. That's okay. Start where you're at. Your journey is different than my journey. I just have the map, but we all come at the map at a different place, right? But we're all going to that same thriving destination. So this week's homework, let's see, we talked about what the lesson is. It's eat your fruits and vegetables. We talked about why that is. It's because you've got to get the phytonutrients, the antioxidants. Those are the the flue and the window to get the smoke damage out of your house, okay? And so that's why it's so, so important. And there's so much research on fruits and vegetables, produce. It's just, you cannot get enough of it. And then how, the easiest hack I know that I live every single day, and I have for, I'm in my 11th year, is eating Juice Plus every single day. And that gives me that foundation. And then cutting out processed food. If it has a label, try not to eat it. If it does have a label, read the ingredients, and you want them as whole and as few as possible, okay? So those are your simple how-tos. Continue to write it down. You can't change something you're not aware of. And that is something, even having gone through this before, I'm still finding myself, there is value in journaling your food, because you don't realize the places that you're just snacking. You don't realize the places that you're putting in junk rather than nutrition. You want to fuel your body, okay? It is so, so important for those of us with autoimmune disease. I can't, it's the foundation. It is the physical foundation. We'll talk about some other foundations for the mental and spiritual in videos to come, because that was later in my journey. This is truly foundational. You cannot build a foundation without good nutrition. You will not be able to transform if you cannot dial in and change. Because if you could, you would have, right? If you could already have gone thriving with your autoimmune diseases, you would have done it. You wouldn't be here today. So if you're here with me, I know that you're struggling just like I am. And I know the solution is increasing your fruits and vegetables 10 times, just magnifying them. And that's why, with the Juice Plus, it's 30 different fruits and vegetables every single day. And when I'm in crisis, I double it. So I'm getting 30 times, I'm getting 60. It's not 60 different, but it's 60 different fruits and vegetables, the phytonutrients from them. So that is the what, why, and how for lesson 2. That is your, what I call in my speech therapy world, your home exercise program for the week. And on the week and beyond, this week what you're really doing is just being super, super focused on it and journaling your intake and really getting real about how many fruits and vegetables do you really eat in a day? And what is the quality of the fruits and vegetables that you eat in a day? And what else are you eating in the day? Okay? So really getting fine-tuned, because you can't change something you're not aware of. All right? So that's lesson 2. We'll come into lesson 3 next.